Hello and welcome to the Free Cheese episode 619. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Matt Sellner.
Hello.
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. This week we're diving deep into the endless ocean, crafted lovingly by Eureka on the Nintendo Wii. Matt, before we dive in and explore the depths of the sea, you ever been scuba diving?
Scuba diving, no. I gone snorkeling once as a young lad in
What do you
Mexico.
remember of that?
It was in Mexico.
Congratulations. Did you see any
Probably. I probably saw stuff.
I've not done it. I would. I don't love the idea of all the gear. It just seems like a hassle, but I guess when you're underground it'd be near weightless, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Not that I wouldn't call myself claustrophobic, but I've had that feeling of claustrophobia, like especially in like the tighter spaces in like my attic,
Yeah,
crawling
okay.
like back into there. I don't know if I would potentially have that feeling again. That is slightly concerning for something like that.
There's something alarming even in playing this game when you go in if you were in like a deep cavern or something where like escape was not in sight. I think that would be a little alarming when you're that low below water. Um, and you're running on an oxygen tank. All of those, yeah, that would be of concern, I think. Um, Before we dive in too deep, I'm going to say it at the top. I'm going to say it at the end as well. If you're listening to this as it goes up Sunday, rather, we're streaming Pac-Man for the 45th anniversary of Puckman. So come hang out with us at twitch.tv/thefreecheese at 7 p.m. Eastern or 0 beats if you and should prefer. Now, on to the good stuff. Endless Ocean, developed by Eureka, published by Nintendo, released on the Nintendo Wii. Everywhere else got it before us. Our release got delayed a little bit. So we didn't get it until January 21st, 2008. Um, yeah, back of the box. Short and simple. You ready?
Let's do it.
Discover the beauty of an endless ocean. Simple controls, no time limits, and serene exploration. Dive into the blue on an endless vacation full of sea life and sunken treasure. Compatible wireless router or Nintendo Wi-Fi USB connector and broadband access required for online play. One player, single Wii remote at bay here. Which, were you surprised about that first time you dove in?
I
Pun
was really
intended?
hoping it was just a single Wii remote because I don't know. I mean, I think I know where my nunchuck is, but it requires some digging.
Sure. I read a bit about the development of the game. They had originally intended on Nunchuck before being challenged to make it work with just the Wii remote on its own. And I think honestly, much like Metroid Other M earlier this year, I'm happy they went with single um single I was gonna call it a Joy-Con Wii remote because it just sort of makes it like natural, intuitive, and I think it fits in style with the Wii stuff. Um I can elaborate on that and not just say Wii stuff. The Wii sensibility, I think that approach of like just handing you the controller that came in the box and letting you be able to just interact with something. I think that like out of the box, easy, tangible, universal experience was what the Wii was going for, and I think this like, others does it well. But before too much more on the controls, what is Endless Ocean? How would you describe Endless Ocean in a nutshell?
A diving simulator.
Yeah, it's like a
Exploration.
yeah, a deep sea exploration game. I added this to the list, and let me see. Let's go back to my season 13. Man, you know what's crazy about my season 13 list of video games
Mm.
is that that note has not been edited since July 21st, 2024. I had everything for this year locked in at that point. Was Endless Ocean even on the list at that point? All right, so this is weird to me. I'm looking at the list and I don't have Endless Ocean anywhere. So this must have been an after the I forget my logic for when I added it in. Um yeah, because I've got nothing. Like it obviously made the final cut. I think for me this was not a companion piece per se to Metroid, but in a way I wanted another Wii title on the list. I in the wake of last year with us looking heavily at Wii Sports and the idea of a Wii Sports killer was our sort of central theme in season 12. I started to think what else made sense to explore on the Wii library. And Metroid was one of them because I feel like that game was always underappreciated for what it did and what it is, but I felt like its control scheme was really unique. And in turn, I knew enough about Endless Ocean from that perspective that it was just one of those things on Wii where Nintendo was allowing and enabling something a little different than we were used to seeing in a game. And I think the other part is I knew I was going to be breaking up my year's worth of games into seasons, and this felt right for a summer game, just being kind of lost at sea and swimming and diving, and it kind of fit into that space. What what was your first reaction to this game on the schedule? Do you remember?
Reaction. I probably like. I remembered the game, but couldn't remember exactly what it was. I thought it was like the diving game, but I wasn't sure. So there was a bit of mystery there. Not as bad as some of the other ones in past years where I had no idea what the game was, but
Yeah, yeah.
no, it was a little bit of mystery. But nothing, nothing. I don't think I had like a extreme reaction or a bad or happy, or I think it was just like, all right, we're exploring the sea.
The other thing for me that was a push to put this on the list is the developer itself, Arika, who I've got their list of work pulled up here. Outside of uh, Endless Ocean, you and I are familiar with Arika for their work on the Tetris Grandmaster series. And of course, that's Tetris the Grandmaster, Tetris the Absolute, the Grandmaster 2, Tetris the Grandmaster 3, Terror Instinct, and this year's Tetris the Grandmaster 4, Absolute I. But they developed Tetris 99, Super Mario Brothers 35, Pac-Man 99. They've done support on games like Tekken 8. They made Dr. Luigi. They did Dr. Mario Miracle Cure on the 3DS. They've worked on Street Fighter stuff throughout the years. They've worked on a lot of, they've been support on a lot of cool projects. And this is one that I was really surprised. Do you remember the Nintendo Direct when the new one got announced?
No.
It was last year. I remember I was in New York for a trip and it was like a 7 a.m. or a 6 a.m. It was a super early Nintendo Direct, or maybe it just felt early and it wasn't that early. But I remember watching it and just sort of like glancing to see what, this was one of those weird ones where like last year, remember we kept thinking the Switch 2 was going to get announced and it never did. So like it was the first direct of the year in like February and it was like what we knew nothing about which games were coming out. We knew nothing about it. And then there's this like subtle little like ocean look and then like wait, are they doing another Endless Ocean? And yeah, it's still Erika, still hanging out, doing it. That one is all online. I think you can play it offline, but I think the focus of it is to play online with others, kind of swim together and explore. Which the original had that, but it was not the main focus. The main focus, there's a whole campaign with a plot actually that you can follow along with. There's weird secrets. There's a lot to it. Uh, Going into this, I kind of expected it to be a little more aimless than it was. I thought it was just going to be go dive, go take pictures of fish, and that's it. What did you think going into it? What was your
I didn't really know what to expect. I knew I was diving. I didn't know how structured it would be or not. Yeah, I'll kind of just leave it at that for now as we talk about it.
yeah, that's about where I was. But you end up there is a plot. You get to meet Katherine Sunday.
I'm sorry,
Are
you
you
said
are
there's a
you
plot?
I mean, there's a plot to follow in a way. Like you have characters assigning you
Okay,
tasks.
all
You've
right.
got uh there's growth that happens, right? Like the more that you're playing and the more that you're
Okay.
completing objectives, you're given new options for objective, right? Like early on, it's just sort of Alfred writing you letters telling you where you might be able to find something cool. And then eventually his wife, what's her name? I had it written down here. Aubrey. She starts reaching out because there's clients who have requests for you. And then Douglas starts reaching out he's the journalist who would like to give you freelance photography work to be printed in magazines. So there's a progression of your character as like an oceanographer. And of course, the you do you get all these weird personal insights from Katherine Sunday as you go on, just these little like moments. Like at one point, like recalls a song that her mom used to sing to her, and it's all because of like something you found in the sea. Just weird, bizarre things like that. So yeah, there's a plot ish, um, in a way. What was your experience when you first fired up the game?
Oh, let me refer to my note that says, what was that character select?
Oh, so you okay? I had a note before you get to that, which was, oh, I have to turn the TV down because that title song is so good, but man, it's like so loud and just kind of punched me in.
I don't
Yeah,
think I made note of it, but I do think I also turned my TV
it's
down.
like, man,
Yeah.
brutal. Yeah, yeah. The character select is like nothing.
Awful.
I was like, yeah, sure. I guess this is me. I let me see. I think I took a picture of.
I think I had like black long hair, or
Sure.
because I think there was like two hairs,
There's two hairstyles. Yeah,
two
that's it.
faces, maybe. And
Maybe
then
I
even when
don't.
you pick the long hair, there's like a snide comment of like, "Don't know how you get your mask going with that mop or something."
Okay, I guess I'll go short hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a picture of my character. There we go.
It's not
Shoot.
gonna focus, but yeah, you got it.
There we
There
go.
you go.
It
We
looks
might
just
look
like me.
exactly the same.
We probably do. There's like not much else you can do. Because the other thing too, this is one of those games where like if you want to be like light brown hair, like I don't think I have dark brown hair per se, but if I go light brown, it just looks red in these games. I'm sure if you put like blonde, it's just yellow,
Yeah,
like it's
yeah.
not, there's no gradient to it or anything like that. It's just one or the other. Um, Hairstyles are weirdly one of the unlockables in the game, as are diving suits, Guy Fieri swim trunks. You get stuff in here the more you progress. Um, what was your first session like? Diving in, Catherine Sunday gives you the ropes.
Uh, just kind of learning the controls, and I think Victoria thought, I don't know, she knew what this game was or thought it was something else, but she was like very intrigued. So we were both kind of sitting down here, kind of playing, and it kind of played how I, whether the dives were structured or not structured were a different thing, but the game played ideally how I thought this thing would play, where you're just
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
swimming around, you're poking at things,
Petting
small
them.
interactions, petting for extended periods of time before you get a name to pop up. Uh, yeah, it kind of played how I thought it would play, and I think, like I said, Victoria, I think thought it was something different because she thought it was a little bit on the slower end. So I'm not totally sure on those, but no, playing it, yeah, for the most part was what I expected it to end up being.
Do you feel like it was intuitive control wise?
Yeah, like like I said, you can tell they run out of buttons when you start incorporating minus and plus.
Hmm.
Um, but I didn't mind like there being like an auto swim button. I did find
Yeah,
myself most of the time kind of holding in. Well, I guess the trigger was the swim button.
yeah,
It kind
B.
of felt natural to do. It didn't like.
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to. I like that they said like you can do it if you need a break or if you're just lazy. Like there was a little
Yeah.
bit of like humor in the writing too, which I appreciated.
But no, everything's intuitive. Bringing up the menu by hitting the D pad, intuitive. Um, yeah.
Um, the controls a little different on the boat versus in the water. But the boat, you're actually like moving around and walking. So you have a little reticle. It's just dot. It's just a blue dot that you kind of like point, click, and your character will kind of walk to wherever you tell it to go to. But it's sort of in real time. Like it's not like point, click, and wait. Like you can kind of adjust on the fly in
Yeah,
that
it's
sense.
almost like controlling a character in an isometric game like Diablo or Dota, where it's like you right click and you start walking, but you can quickly go right and click again at
Yeah, it's exactly that. And they like translated that from a mouse to a
Wiimote.
Wii remote really, really well. That was my favorite element of the Wii remote in that era was where that you could see they were taking mouse controls to like a new, more intuitive level. Because I'm still a believer that the Wii remote's the best controller we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never gonna stop.
Okay, I forget you make that claim. That's fine. It's not a bad one.
I that and like the option of the nunchuck, I just think it's so good. Like it's just a good pairing. I think they work well together, but I think like just the fact the Wii remote's just so versatile, like the fact that you can do pointer controls and simulate the mouse style stuff, I think that just works so well. The Joy-Con 2 have been nice, but like mouse controls for me so far, I've been limited to menus only. I haven't picked up anything that supports it
Sorry.
in game. I know.
Wait for it.
Times are
Wait
crazy.
for your buddy in August.
Yeah. Hopefully we get that Nintendo Direct that announces Mario Maker, but we'll see. On the boat itself, you have a couple things. There's a stash on deck of all the treasures you find because you do start to find treasures, or rather treasure pieces. Like the more you dive, the more you're finding like pieces of I was gonna say statues, but maybe we should save the statue bit for a little bit later on, since that's one of my favorite parts of the game. But you get compass pieces, you get like I don't know, it's other little knick-knack things um, amongst the sea. Inside the main cabin, there's sort of like that's like your main hub, sort of like a pause menu. But I love that menu a lot. I know it's like a little cheesy to like make all the menu options like literal objects on a desk, but it worked for me. Did it work for you?
Yeah, it was. That was fine. It's
It was intuitive
no,
and
it is. It's just sometimes, and this could just be the setup. These are Wiimotes that are I've had since probably the beginning of the Wii. It could be my setup. Like just sometimes just getting the Wiimote to go to the right spot is a mild annoyance. Sometimes I wish in those
yeah,
menus you can just like down left, and I know it's gonna go to like the save document or
yeah,
to
I get that. The email.
very minor complaint, but the setup it is like everything's spread out. It's not like there's stuff stacked right on top of one another.
Yeah,
There's enough
I
real
get that.
estate.
Um, in there though, you have, yeah, I mean, the option to save. You have uh, the email is like the main core of where you're gonna get your I
Objectives.
guess objectives. Yeah, objectives is probably the best way to describe it. I wouldn't say yeah, missions or something. Yeah, that makes most sense. Um, what else do you have in there? You have your controls, so you can actually drive the boat and move somewhere else. You're given a map at the beginning, or you see the map pretty early on, and it's all like grayed out except for where you are at the time in the top right. And then the more you explore, like the more you fill in the map, which
But there's
I'm sure.
nothing. There's nothing stopping you from just going anywhere.
Yeah. You're good wherever. There's obviously like so as Alfred reaches out to you via email, he'll say things like, "Oh, there's a something happening in J5," and you know you want to go there before. That's like the way to prioritize things. But you can go wherever, dive, and sort of just interact with whatever is waiting for you below. Um, anything else on the boat? I'm forgetting. What else is up in that cabin?
In the cabin itself, saves. You can change. That's where you can change your equipment if you once you start to
Yes,
unlock
as you
stuff.
unlock. Yep.
There was the wheel, the phone, the diary. Oh, your fish encyclopedia is in there as well.
Oh yeah. As you so yeah,
Whatever it's
everything
called.
you
It's not
discover.
that. It's not called that, but yes.
I think it is called the encyclopedia,
Or
right?
I remembered for some reason. But yeah, it's whatever.
Um,
It's as you start to, find fish, pet them long enough, you start to uncover data about them, especially like their names, which having their names is a key piece of some of the objectives when you are with diving with people and showing them the areas because usually one of their main things is they want to see specific fish amongst a good dive.
yeah.
Um, I maybe I just did not play enough. That is rated on like a 1 to 5 rating. Did the rating impact anything at the end of the day? Because I got like a couple threes and I finally got myself a 5 after I realized, oh, they just don't want to see just that fish. They want to see more.
I never noticed like maybe you need to get a higher rating to get the unlock of whatever corresponding thing, you know?
Yeah, I
Like
can see
but
that, but yeah, okay. There was
I didn't pay
nothing
close enough attention. I didn't look up anything to see if that made a difference. I would imagine it might not, given how like
laid back.
cavalier and casual this game is in that regard. Um yeah. Um You do have a radio on board, which I didn't go through this, but I love this era of games where you could use the SD card or the on-device media to play your own MP3 files. I think that's nice. I feel like
Oh, I missed that.
if I would have played this back in 2008, I might have done it. I almost did it now, so that tells me I probably would have back then just like drag some files to an SD card and do it. Um You occasionally get visitors as well. The first visitor I had was a penguin. I imagine that's canonical. Is that who you had too?
Yes, yes.
Yes. But eventually you can get a ton of weird stuff, man. Like, um, it depends on where you are on the map. That kind of dictates, I think, what shows up. But yeah, I had a walrus at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what's the other? I forget what they're called. Um, a sea lion is the name of them.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have anything else weird or?
That's all I noticed. I would imagine you probably went to more locations than I did. I only ended up probably going to a handful at the end of the day, coming into the episode. But yeah, those were like, I saw those three. Um,
Yeah,
yep.
penguins I would get a lot, but I think they're pretty common in that early area.
I did see there was two types of different penguins though. I got at one point. You got
There's
like,
different, yeah.
yeah, like the emperor penguin.
The
Then
one with the
I forget the other common one. But
is it
yeah, I forget the
I've got
title.
a reference guide for different animals that are in here, but I don't know. But yeah, um, the only other thing I think we haven't talked about on the boat in any sort of depth is Katherine Sunday. Um, she's kind of always hanging out. You can talk to her. She gives you hints and kind of like suggestions on where to go next, um, which is useful. I mean, usually you kind of know what to do based on what's in your inbox, but Catherine will help you along the way. And you'll get to learn more about her and her background. You learn about her mom and her dad. Like there's a lot of Catherine Sunday. Um, yeah, dad went missing after a dive once, and that kind of led her to a life at sea to explore the, you know what I mean? It's all
Yeah.
deeper than you would expect it, or I expected it to be, for sure. Um, I want to dive a little bit more. I got to stop saying dive in this episode, but I want to talk more about um, what's in the sea and that interaction, the way you interact with animals. Before that, though, what did you learn while playing Endless Ocean?
Learn. Um,
Yeah,
the names of a few fish I didn't know.
I also learned that Gabbiano means seagull in Italian.
That too.
Many times I learned that. It's like one of the loading screen little
Yeah. Well,
fun
one.
facts.
It's one of two. Did
Um,
you? I don't know how much you knew about this game going in. Did you know that that was a music selection screen, or did you think that was like a weird location finder or selection?
which part are you talking
When you're
about?
going into the water and you're loading in, you can go
Oh,
left or
that.
right. Did you think that was music or some kind of weird location selection?
No, the very first time, yes, location.
Okay, I'm not
And then
alone.
I figured out like, okay, I know where I'm at. But yeah. Very much. Once I did it though, it reminded me a lot of Ridge Racer does that. Where like there's this little not pause, but just sort of like as you're loading into a stage in Ridge Racer, it's like, hey, you can pick a track before you jump in. So that clicked eventually.
Yeah, then
Um,
there's like the so like I don't know. We could talk. I guess I don't want to transition us into music too fast. If you want to talk about what's in the
no,
sea,
let's talk music. Let's talk music.
um, so like this game went like full Hideo Kojima, like putting in a full soundtrack into a game. The only
Yeah,
thing is, if you go diving for an extended period of time, it just hammers that song over and over
over
and
and
over.
over. And sometimes like I I couldn't tell. I got a sense that the soundtrack feed was like dynamic in a way because I felt like there were times where like if a shark or I came up on a shark or something like it would kind of naturally make the music, or maybe it was just coincidence, but like the music would sometimes often like kind of reach like a crescendo, or they'd push to like a really
Hmm.
loud part of the song specifically because there's a shark nearby or like something intense happening. Although the shark itself had its own sort of, not all sharks, but some of them had their own little like trigger music to let you know like um, which did you expect to get mauled or attacked or anything? Were you
Oh, I
surprised
didn't
that
know
you
you
didn't?
could get mauled. Okay.
No, you can't. You can't.
Oh, I
But I kind of was like worried.
I I didn't think this game would do that,
I
especially
didn't. Yeah,
yeah, like especially like after diving like 3 times and like
yeah,
nothing of consequence
yeah.
really happens.
And I found a shark pretty early on, in like one of my first few dives, and
Yeah,
nothing happened. So I was like, I'm
was it
probably fine.
G5? Because I think you're told early on there's a spawn of sharks. I forget which kind.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, and I went there and found the sharks.
Yeah. Um, one of the first things you do, or one of the first things that you get mission wise, in terms of the first time I felt like I noticed structure in the game was the dolphin quest, where you get like a little, I think Katherine Sunday said it, where she's like, oh, I think that dolphin's in too shallow of a part of the sea. We should try and lead him back to more open water. And you have to kind of like navigate your way around underwater to find him and get him to kind of follow you, befriend you, and lead him out to sea. Um, I, were you surprised that there was a little bit more structure? I think we talked about that a little bit before, but
I mean, that was it though, right? Like I think that's one of the few times that you get like an underwater objective. For I will say
in that sense, yeah.
I would say the opposite end of that though is like for as free as this game wants it to appear to be, I think sometimes it wanting to introduce things at a certain pace limits what you can do. So like I just got to the point where I was like, all right, well I can go anywhere on this map. Let's go southeast, and I happened to find a cave. I was like,
Hmm.
oh, what's in here? Oh, Katherine comes on the radio.
Can't go there. Too.
It's too
Is it because
scary.
you were? Oh, too scary.
It's too scary.
There were a couple of things. You had that. You had the like you're just outside of your radius of the boat,
Mm,
or there was the part where like you couldn't go low enough because you didn't
yeah,
have the right
yeah.
air, which you would later get, and that opens up some new things.
But no, the
Um,
cave one. Well, I was like kind of like a little bummed out about that one, and then literally coming up from that dive, Catherine acts like I'd even see a cave that she prevented me and starts talking about being able to go into a cave. And it's like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay,
That yes.
I'll
I
do
think
that
we had the
the
same
next.
experience there.
I'll do that the next time I turn on the game. That'll
Yeah,
give me a reason to turn it back on.
yeah. Um, the let's see, where do we want to go next? I guess just gonna say diving in. Just gonna say diving in. Just gonna say
That's
it.
just it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Um, the core loop of the game is pretty straightforward in terms of being underwater swimming with creatures. You are pointing at the screen. Your cursor will kind of change colors or like indicate when you are able to interact with something. You really have a few options in terms of that. So one is you can just interact with a thing swimming by, whether it's a fish or a shark or a manta ray or an eel or whatever. Um, you can tap on them if you want, like, and get their attention, or you can kind of pet them. Um, the other thing is the cursor will sometimes flash yellow, and that means that's a spot on the area you're
The
in where
ocean
you can zoom
floor,
in. So
or
yeah,
not necessarily, but like maybe like a hole in a rock or a piece of coral or something like that.
right. And it's like let's go a little bit closer, and then in there you end up finding tiny fish that are embedded within that stuff like that.
It's like a set
Um,
view, like ISO view that you can't
yeah, you're
really
not
move
swimming
in
at that point. You're
around.
really just
So,
yeah,
yes, I think it's almost like treated like a first person perspective almost.
yeah.
But then
Um,
same thing there, like that, like yeah, you can do that, but then like once you get in that view, like you'll see like I don't know, like a shrimp or something, and same thing, just rub it, get the name, interact with it. And then that's that. I guess when you find some of the items, treasures, sea junk on the in the game that you can collect, or whatnot.
yeah. Um,
Oh, we should talk about the diving partner too. I feel like we're jumping around now. We have it.
oh yeah, no, go for it.
No, so I know there's two more. I did not get to the point where I unlocked them, but after completing the initial kind of story beat with this dolphin, he befriends you for saving him from shallow waters,
Hmm.
and then you can call upon him, and he can dive with you. So I think you can increase diving level, like your dive, like a almost like a relationship score, if you would. I don't have a better term for it,
Yeah, yeah.
but I think you do it by just diving with them more and more, and then also you can do tricks with them. That's another option you can do off the boat. So like if you go off the stern of the boat,
Yeah.
you can. There's like this
Off the
whole mini
gangplank,
game,
right?
huh?
Isn't it off the gangplank?
thought it was just like off
You're
the
more of a
stern.
boat man than
I
I,
thought it was
so
just
you
off
are
the
probably
stern, the
correct.
back.
I thought there's. All right, yeah. All right, let's go with that. Let's go with that.
But yeah, like there's like a little mini game you do with Wiimote actions where you can do tricks. And
Yeah.
you can teach him more tricks, and you can train him to do better tricks and stuff like that. It's like a little mini game, but I think that helps increase that relationship. And I think the point of increasing that relationship is diving partner will help you find stuff. So you'll be, I might be off going left, or I don't know, like a bearing of 270 degrees. Dolphin went over 90 degrees, and then I hear him like her, or it could be her. I don't I don't
Yeah, yeah,
necessarily
yeah.
know. Start squeaking, not like a desperate help of squeaking, but like more like an alert. And then
Just like, hey, yeah,
yeah,
come
like
check this out.
then dolphins hanging out by a spot, you can go and maybe poke a shrimp or a crab or something. Sometimes finds some sea junk. Sometimes it's just more animals. But yeah, no, the diving partner kind of helps aid that exploring for stuff along the ocean floor.
You, yeah, you can get. There's a bunch of different species. I didn't realize like what I would consider a whale is a dolphin. Like Free Willy is a dolphin.
I always thought that was an orca whale.
So did I. Not in this. I don't know.
Man, we
Um,
can't get away from Michael Jackson, can we? Sorry,
no,
Space Michael.
Space Michael. Yeah, Space Michael's always around. Um,
Sorry, you got me googling Free Willy now. I gotta know.
it's just like the way that they refer to it is like the orca is a large species of dolphin. The orca is the largest species of dolphin in the world, hence its colloquial recognition as a whale.
Yeah, killer whale.
But it's a dolphin?
It's fam. All right, so here we go. I'm really getting into
I
the
know.
science now. Its family is the Delphinidae.
Okay.
Its species is an orca. Then this genus is Orsenus, which again falls under the Delphinidae family, which just I think is the blanket term for a dolphin.
Okay.
Now let me go and click on a whale that is mentioned here.
Which yeah, I had no clue until this game. Another thing I learned besides Gabbiano means
Oh god,
uh
I'm really gonna butcher this. It seems like the whale family is the Belen or Belenopteridae.
sure, I suppose.
Science. More so biology,
Uh
any more than science.
Biology. Yeah, yeah. Oceanic biology, I would say. Past that, I mean, you get to interact with a lot of different sea creatures. The thing I liked about the game is the shift between day and night and how nighttime brought different types out. Also, at a certain point, you're able to go deeper into the ocean. And that to me felt a little creepy, a little weird. There's one spot, I believe it's called the Abyss. And that's where like you can swim through the skeleton of a giant whale that's like sitting at the ocean floor. You start to see like anglerfish. Like the music's a little weird and creepy. Um, yeah, it's a fun little change of pace. Um, that is also I remember being deep under at a point where there's this part where like by the time you get to a space where you can go pretty deep underwater, you kind of have the general understanding that like you're safe, right? Like you're not gonna run out of oxygen, you're not gonna be attacked. It's you can just kind of do what you want to do. It's a little, unrealistic, but it works for what it is. But even still, like there were these caves that sort of like led through a tunnel, and I remember swimming through them and feeling like something bad's gonna happen in here. And sure enough, like there was this huge shark just ahead. It was like, huh. But it just kind of does its thing. You can walk up, interact with it, and if you don't already, if you haven't already interacted with it, you can identify it. You fight a giant squid down there. Um, and like giant squid is one of those moments. There's a couple of those where you're deep under, and Katherine Sunday will reach out to you like, "Oh, that's the giant squid. It's a really, really rare. No one even thought that was real. Um, you should interact with it." There's a few of those throughout. Ultimately, though, I'm looking through my notes. The big piece of this is just like swim, register animals, go back and see how many more are left to go in your encyclopedia. Rinse and repeat. I kind of mentioned at the top, but you have a couple different mission types. You have um, the Alfred missions that are more like general purpose. Go here, look for this thing, look for this type of animal, whatever. Or I hear there might be this type of thing there. His wife tells you, "Hey, clients are coming," and you elaborated on this, but they usually want to see something in particular on their dive. Um, Sometimes you can do that kind of quickly. Like some of the things, like if you kind of know exactly where you're going, you can, or if you happen upon it by accident, you can just sort of stumble into the thing they want and complete their request. And then Douglas is a journalist who he'll send photo requests for magazines he's freelancing for, and he'll sometimes give you rumors on like where to search, similar to how Alfred does. The thing I like about that though is like after you send him a picture or you complete the objective, the way that it's told to you that you completed or you like turn it in, I suppose, is like he sends you the magazine article with
Mm-hmm.
your picture in it. Like that was just like a nice touch, I thought, visually to see that kind of added in there. Um, you unlock the aquarium at a certain point where you can kind of like jump in and look at different creatures specifically within the aquarium.
Yeah, I was
Um,
little. I will. While we're on the aquarium, I was a little bummed that I because when I unlocked that, I was like, okay, here is the. It's going to be okay because it's a video game, but this is where we're going to start capturing or figuring out ways to capture animals for this aquarium. This is like your Pokemon moment. And then
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was a
This is
little
your like,
just kind of bummed to see like, oh, you can just swim around with different animals.
yeah, yeah. It's not so much of like an aquarium where you're like we've been doing in Animal Crossing where you're fishing and turning them into the museum. Like it's not that. There's no extra gameplay. The only other big gameplay thing you unlock, I mean, there's photographs that you do for Douglas. You unlock one of the clients gives you an underwater pencil or pen, I think is what they call it, and that lets you sort of like draw on the screen with the Wii remote, and certain fish or species interact with it in a way that forces them in a direction. I didn't love that mechanic. Just
When I received that, I was very upset. I have a note here that says, "This old rich white gave me a fucking pen."
yeah, like you could have done something more. Give me the jet ski you rode up
Yeah,
on.
I
You know what I mean?
know.
Like let me have a jet ski mini game. Pack Wave Race 64 into this game.
Um,
Did you unlock the white hair?
no, at least not that I remember. I think it
So
was
this is the
unlocking
one
more
part
gear.
I wanted to bring up. Because you can go to the ruins in this game, and there's statue pieces down there. And as you find those, you get cursed. Have you seen any of the cursed
No, I
stuff?
could completely missed that.
So you just start getting weird emails from like a 404 sender that warn you. They tell you to destroy the idol you collected. Um, there's one that says like you need to hang silver sheets around all your windows. It's just like this whole thing that's like you shouldn't have messed with that. Like it knows what you it's really weird. It's like a really odd turn for the game, but coming from the people who named a Tetris game Absolute Eye and what was the
Terror
other one?
instinct.
Terror Instinct, like it doesn't surprise me that kind of happened. Yeah, it's really really strange. I was a big fan of that. Weird surprise. And then basically like each one of those things you interact with um like the responses, it's the deity idol is the the name of the thing you find. But each time you get like one of those messages and you read through it and whatever, that unlocks like a different white colored hairstyle. I guess the idea being that, all the
Oh.
color left your body, but that's how you unlock those. Just weird, this game's weird in that kind of way. Um, that might be my last big note I have here. Other than I have here Gabbiano means seagull in Italian, but that's it.
How many times do you have that?
A lot.
No, I just a couple quick hits really. The load times, especially going into the ocean, were they seemed long. I don't know though if part of it is because you have to pick a song track. I thought it would just auto pick for me at some point.
Yeah.
I wonder if that has something to do with it. Because when I was mashing A, it felt a little bit better, but maybe I would just be more attentive. I don't know. Um,
I Yeah, I don't know. I didn't make note of like long load times, but I wasn't paying attention to it in that regard.
um,
Um, and I think just compared to other things I've been playing, I didn't necessarily notice it standing out.
And then I guess like in real life, if I was to go on a diving adventure and I was like, yeah, I really want to see this fish, I wouldn't feel all that great if my diver looked at an encyclopedia in front of me. But man, I would have loved to have the access to that encyclopedia after being told what fish or
Yeah.
creature we're looking to get. Even if it was just to throw like a little hint picture in the corner. I often found myself Googling the fish, so that way I had a picture on my
Of
phone.
yeah.
And then I was phone in one hand, Wiimote in the other hand. It's like, all right, where's this fucker at? So that was my experience with diving with people.
Yeah, it doesn't there's not a great I there's a sense of realism there, I suppose.
I get it. I can't open a book underwater. Like, I get it.
Sure. You could
But
make waterproof pages, technically.
I get it.
Yeah.
But
Um,
yeah, that would have been just a little quality of life thing. Or even like for the photos, like you had to refer to the email. Would have been nice if like if you saw the name of the fish or at least you knew it, like if a little photo icon was next to them saying like, oh, they're like this is
yeah.
one that's on your objective. You found it. Here you go. Just dumb little quality of life things that maybe even the sequels address. But no, I think this game is what it is. I think you're gonna have people that this is for. You're gonna have people that this isn't for. Doesn't not make it a unique, interesting experience. But this is not gonna be. I don't think this game was made for everyone.
Definitely not. Is it for you? I know this is definitely a departure from stuff you would normally pick up and play, but like
It's really not. It was a challenge to get myself to turn on my Wii to play this. For moment to moment, I kind of found myself having fun, like if I had an objective in mind. But
yeah,
like this game's very not in a
it's
good
passive.
way. In a good way, it's not holding your hand the entire way. But I
Yeah.
found myself more engaged when I was like helping that dolphin than I was once I got into that cave that I wasn't allowed into, and like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
found out the cave was just like another area.
Yeah, there's never like that weird statue is like the coolest part of like treasures you find and things like that. Like generally the things you find like there's some areas that are different than others and but yeah, a lot of it is just like the same. It's just like hanging out. When I read an interview with the developers that said that at one point they were internally referring to this as Nintendo Dolphin, um, that kind of started to click for me that they were trying to make more of like a hangout simulator kind of thing. So,
Yeah, yeah.
well, at the end of every episode, we rank these video games on a list we call the list that you can check out at thefreecheese.com/the list. Matt, what's your gut? What's your number you wrote down coming into the episode?
Yeah, I think I'm a little unfair. Just again, not necessarily my cup of tea, and I am forced to put it on a rank or rank it on a
Yeah.
list that has a lot of games that are more my cup of tea. Um, like I said, don't feel confident with the number, but I ended up landing at the new 113 between Krusty's
Okay.
Playland and the Uninvited.
Got it. I was a little bit higher, but not entirely. So I had this at 82 after Snatcher and above Zillion. It felt like
I could see it being up
stronger than
there.
Zillion. Because I think, like, to your point, this game is not for everybody, but and for me, like, I'd probably rather play some other things on our list for sure. Even some things below where I just, you know, rated this. But in terms of like what this game sets out to do, what I think it does well, I yeah, it's a good experience. It's a cool like
Game has better plot than Anthem.
it does. That's what I'm saying. I think it's better than Anthem. And for me, like this is one I've been playing on and off since January or whenever I picked it up. Like I added it to the list some point in July last year. And yeah, like once I picked it up, it's just been a thing where it's like, oh yeah, I'll dive in and play a little endless. I keep wanting to call it Blue Ocean. Yeah, dive in and play a little bit of that and swim around for a bit. Um, and now that we've played it, like I kind of want to check out the Switch one. It looked really framey in the Nintendo Direct, so I don't know if I'm like ready for that. Maybe I should see if someone's done Switch 2 comparison video to see if it runs better. But I'm like, this has made me more intrigued for that, just to like mess around. But yeah, what do you think? You want to pull it down a little bit?
I'll I have no problem coming to you because, like I said, this is a weird one for me to rank anyway. So, like, I just think my personal, I think me trying to navigate the score is just like my personal preference and genre, which isn't like the point of this list. So, I say
Yeah.
we just come to you and call it because
All right,
I think there's arguments for it being a better game than anything that between what you said and I said. So
I'm good with it. All right, there it is. Endless Ocean, the new 82. Take that, Zillion. Um, don't forget, this coming Sunday night, we've got a Pac-Man race. We're both going to be playing Pac-Man, the video game. See just how far games have come since then. Um, next week, we've got another podcast episode. The fourth Quake is getting added to the list. Come back and hang out with us for that. Um, and we're like halfway through summer, more than halfway through summer. I think I think this is over our halfway point, technically. So yeah, few weeks remain as we approach Animal Crossing Part 3 Summer Edition. Till next week, thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you, Matt. And we'll see you next time. Bye.